So, Modern Warfare 4 has been announced, albeit a good while before I'm actually making this video, but I'll be honest, I've been a little bit lazy about it. Wanted to make it, just haven't done it. And I'm kind of happy that I haven't, just because I'm kind of able to get a bit more information on how I kind of want to see things go with it. So that being said, I pretty much just want to take this time to go over some of the things that I would like to see and go over some of the other things that some of the Call of Duty community managers have been saying about what they're going to be doing with the game. Not very much. I haven't been able to find a whole lot other than a couple things. But regardless, we'll go over them and then kind of see where I sit by the end of the video. First thing I want to talk about is, for some weird reason, a pretty controversial one, and that would be skill-based matchmaking. I don't know why it ends up becoming such an issue with some of these newer Call of Duty games. I think it mostly just stems from the fact that a lot of people, whenever they play these new games, want to be put in their skill level. I don't know if that just comes with people having never played the older games, or if they just feel like they aren't good enough to be able to keep up whenever they get somebody who's higher skill level in their open lobbies. But I think it's very odd that this is such an issue that for some odd reason they just cannot get right as far as developing these games goes. Open matchmaking has worked years prior to these newer games, and even in some of the past ones, it really didn't seem like it was all that bad. I remember playing 2019 and being able to keep up pretty well. I mean, I don't play Call of Duty anywhere near as much as I used to. I want to, don't get me wrong, I really miss it. But playing 2019, I was able to keep up very well. You know, having a full-time job, being able to come home and do decently well in the game and not have to worry about sweating my ass off every single second just so that I could keep up. Now, when it comes to playing some of these newer games, it just almost feels like more of a full-time job than actually going and getting a paycheck. The skill-based in Modern Warfare 3, the newer one, obviously, was so outlandish, in my opinion. I mean, it would take you sometimes upwards of a minute to get into a lobby just because they were trying to put you into a lobby of people that were good enough in your skill bracket so that they didn't have to make some of the guys who weren't as good suffer. Which, I'm sure that helps keep people on the game. I don't know the demographic of that, if I'm being totally honest with you. But I think it would be better to see more open lobbies, kind of like how Black Ops 7 said they were going to do. And I think that that's kind of a gray area. I played the beta. If anybody's a recurring viewer, you know I played the beta. I made a video about it. I loved the beta. I thought it was so much fun. I was so hyped for that game. And then the actual game came out and it just disappointed me. One of those reasons being, I had heard a lot about the skill-based matchmaking in that game all of a sudden coming back into light. I can't honestly say that I ever experienced it. I played the beta. They had the open playlist mosh pit or whatever it was, and that one you could tell when you were in a lobby where you were kind of like dominating the scoreboard, and you could tell whenever you were in a lobby where you were facing people who were the same skill level as you, if not higher. Very noticeable, but very different. No games ended up being the exact same. They varied a lot, and that's what made that beta good to me. I played the campaign of Black Ops 7, and it was bad enough with that and the skins, which we'll get into later on, that I just decided I wasn't actually going to continue playing that game, which sucks. I wanted to play that game really bad. Black Ops 2 is my favorite game of all time. It's the direct sequel to it. I was so hyped, and I got let down so hard by Treyarch. So I really hope Modern Warfare 4 can do better. But I have seen videos of people comparing, and I'm sure a lot of other people who were in this kind of same boat with me, the matchmaking times from the beta compared to the launch of Black Ops 7, and even compared to older games. So Black Ops 7's matchmaking from the beta was relatively quick. Anybody who played it probably noticed that. Somewhere around 5 to 10 seconds, and bam, you were in a lobby. You had people that you were ready to play with, and it was good. When launch came out, it seemed like everybody was taking upwards of 45 seconds to a minute and a half to get into some of these lobbies. I didn't experience that. This is just going based off of my own research. And it would start repeatedly putting you in the same lobbies over and over again if you wanted to get away from people who were maybe a little bit too sweaty, too high of a skill level for you. So I'm not sure how to really feel about that. Treyarch apparently came out and said that the skill base didn't change at all, just like they said it wasn't going to, but it was that the demographic of players changed between the beta and the launch, which is true. But at the same time, if the demographic changed but the skill base didn't, wouldn't that just mean you'd be finding games in less than 10 seconds as opposed to the 10 seconds of the beta? I don't know, it was a little bit odd for them to say that, but not really specify anything with the skill base, like how it pulls people from that demographic into your lobbies or anything like that. They kind of just left it be the way it was. And I know the games are still relatively good as far as being balanced. You don't have a ton of sweats on one team and then a ton of new guys on the other team who are just getting absolutely steamrolled. But I've seen enough from other content creators or social medias where it's a little bit iffy on how they actually decided they were going to make that skill-based work after the launch of the game. Now, you might be asking why the hell I just went on that tangent. Well, that would be because right after the reveal, I think on May 28th, Modern Warzone put out a tweet about skill-based matchmaking and how they said it will not revert back to the pre-Black Ops 7 strict SBMM. Now, I've already given my piece on that, but 3 days later, they quote tweeted somebody else who had a reply to the original trailer where Mark Grigsby, the studio head of Infinity Ward, said that all will be revealed soon, which you'll see here. But then they kind of went back on their own thing and said about how they would be seeing what we were really getting as far as SBMM goes in the future. Unfortunately, there has been absolutely zero update from Mark Grigsby that I could find, and I wasn't able to find anything on any COD blogs or anything either. So I'm not really sure what's going on with the state of the SBMM transparency they were talking about as of the recording of this video. It's been an entire month since he even responded to that original question. So I'm not really sure what Modern Warzone was talking about in their first tweet, where they said that they will not revert back whenever they went back on themselves 3 days later and kind of showed that they might not actually know what they were talking about at the time. Maybe I'm reading too much into it and I'm just trying to think of the worst possible things, but I really don't want to. I want this game to do good. Please let it do good. I miss Call of Duty. But hopefully not step backwards, they said in the tweet that they had quote tweeted for Mark Grigsby, and I agree. Hopefully not step backwards. The next big thing I wanted to talk about, which I think me and a lot of other people can agree on, is the weapon and operator skins that have kind of been introduced to us over the years in some of these games. I'm not against microtransactions in games. We've had them for years in Call of Duty. Some of the most notable ones being like Black Ops 2, for example. They had all of the, $2 or $3, however much they were, camos that you could get for your guns that gave you a calling card, a camo, and or something else. I can't remember now, but that's besides the point. Those were obviously fine. I mean, in the grand scheme of things from today, those were actual chump change. But now, with some of the skins that they had for these Vault Editions are just outlandish. Like, they are insane. And that was one thing that Black Ops 7 claimed that they were going to do, was have a more grounded look to their skin market. I'm going to go full transparency here and say that I have no idea what they did as far as skins after the launch of the game. The only thing I know about are the Vault Edition skins for both the operators and the weapons that they chose to give the Mastercraft versions to, which I hate Mastercrafts. I fucking hate them. Anyway, the skins that they chose for the operators in the Vault Edition were so bad and they were received so negatively that they actually went through and updated them. 3 out of the 4 skins, which we'll get into. But the idea that they even needed to do it in the first place after claiming that they wanted to be more grounded with the time in which they were basing the game already sets off red flags with Treyarch, at least. And albeit they did change it, I'll give them that. I don't like that. So let's go over this real quick. They completely changed the way that Karma looks entirely, because she doesn't now have holographic armor, which, why the fuck would she have that anyway? They made Harper's armor less pronounced, and I think they removed a couple pieces off of his arms. So really that didn't change all that much, but it does look better in the updated one. Reaper, honestly, I don't really notice much change, if any, at all. So maybe there just isn't any. But fucking Ted. God damn it, I hate Ted. Why is he there? I don't understand. Not to mention, Ted has a face. I mean, if you're gonna make Ted, at least make it like the after picture, where that's how everyone knows him from Transit. I don't know, that Vault Edition was just awful, and I hate everything about it. It shouldn't need to happen in the first place. And on top of it, they decided to leave in the Ted operator skin, which I don't even know why in the hell Ted is an operator anyway, because they already have the Reaper drone, or whatever you want to call them, from Black Ops 3. So they have a full-on robot already. Why couldn't they just make a Ted skin for the Reaper instead of having a whole other skin of a guy who drove a bus in Transit, who didn't even have any arms or legs, but now he's running around at near Mach speeds, shooting people in the face? I don't know. I hate it. I don't like that they made him a skin. I really don't. As far as weapon skins goes, I don't necessarily hate all of these ones. They don't fit as far as I'm concerned. I don't care for them in the slightest. Especially not that shock baton that's got the like hologram snake around it. Whatever. I don't like it. I know I don't have any examples, but I know that since then they have made way worse Mastercrafts. And full transparency, once again, I have fallen to the Mastercraft regime, we'll call it, for lack of a better word, because I've bought them in the past in Black Ops Cold War. I know I had them because I used to run them in zombies. I don't know why I bought them, don't ask me, but I am a changed man, we'll say. I don't like them. I don't like the ones that they're doing now. The ones they're doing now are absolutely crazy. I saw a video earlier today of one where the gun is like all scaffolding, and then there's a little dude on a helicopter and he falls down the gun, and then he breaks a piece of plywood that's on the side of the mag well, and then he gets on a motorcycle and he drives through the scaffolding of the gun and then turns where you can't see him, and then he runs up a ramp through the top of the receiver of the gun, and it jumps the dirt bike or motorcycle, whatever, into another helicopter, blows it up, and then he wingsuits away. What the fuck is that? I understand wanting to have crazy, wacky things people can spend money on, but I swear I distinctly remember them saying at one point that they were going to let the Warzone stuff stay as a carry forward, and they weren't doing carry forwards anymore. Okay, I know they didn't do that, but I want to see them only keep the goofy shit like that in Warzone. That can be their Fortnite. They can keep it over there. They can have their crazy Mastercraft skins so that they can flex on 6-year-old Timmy that they killed off a hot drop and picked up the first gun they saw. Good for you, buddy. You keep playing your free-to-play game. But if I'm paying $70 for a game, I want them to keep their word. Like, it's just so scummy to tell people, this is how we're going to do it, and We promise you it's going to be this way. And then they keep talking about it for weeks, maybe even a month, up until the game releases, and then it's just all thrown out the window because they're like, well, we can make money, though. You're going to make money off the game sales. It's just that simple. Especially because a lot of the people in, like, the Steam community of the game have refunded it. They didn't like it. They didn't want to play it, so they got rid of it. It was that simple. I just don't understand why they feel the need to do the crazy shit to appease, you know, a couple hundred content creators or something who think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not the overall community. It's the people that the community see, yes, just because they have that platform. But if you're getting reports from people outside of the content creation spectrum, why not go with the majority? Screw the YouTubers, screw the streamers. Nobody gives a shit about what they actually have to think. It's fun to watch them sometimes, you know, they go on their movement kicks, these fucking sliding, diving gods that they are. But at the end of the day, that's not the casual player's experience. Follow what they want, not what the content people want. Before getting to the final point, I want to talk about how their transparency with this right now can really set a precedent, because I'm sure anybody watching this video, if you follow Call of Duty close enough, you will have seen the active player count for the week, not for the day or 24-hour period, whatever, for the week that PlayStation Network started applying as a beta to their like main home screen on the PS5. Everyone has seen this screenshot of the, 4.95 million players that were in Call of Duty. I don't like that, not because it shows off how many people are actually playing the game and I'm just being, some grumpy asshole about it because I'm like, no, this game's bad, don't you play it, it's bad. I am upset about it because I don't like the fact that they don't specify what game they're in on there. So, if you've been playing Call of Duty over these past, 6 years or so, they have started doing their Call of Duty HQ app, which is pretty universal as far as what platform you're playing on. Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, doesn't matter. You load it up and then you get that splash screen of, the 3 or however many games, and then you hit whichever one you want, and it kind of deloads you out of the Call of Duty HQ and reloads you into the actual game you wanted to play. Whenever you're looking at that PSN screenshot, it is showing you the Call of Duty HQ player count of almost 5 million. That is not to say that there are 5 million people playing Black Ops 7, which is how some people took it. And I don't know if it's just they were just assuming like, oh, it's the newest game, it's got to be just full of people, or if they genuinely are just so dense they couldn't see past the fact like, oh, well, there's still like 4 or 5 other games that are a part of this Call of Duty HQ that people could be playing. And I know there is still population on Modern Warfare 3 because I've played it somewhat recently enough that you can find games, albeit I talked about that skill-based matchmaking in the beginning, it still takes that long because of the skill-based, but there's still people playing the old Call of Duty games. I mean, for Christ's sake, Modern Warfare 2019, went on sale, it didn't go on sale, it got added to Steam, last month or 2 months ago, and their player count skyrocketed to almost 70,000 people. That was not part of the HQ because that game was on Battle.net whenever it came down to the Steam side of it. So I think that also means that on consoles it wasn't. But even outside of that, there were still roughly 10 to 12,000 people playing that game in general before the spike in new purchases, or I know a lot of people are saying it was the Chinese market, which, be that as it may, it doesn't matter. There's still people on the game. It's the same thing with the other ones. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 6, Cold War. Those were all part of... Or actually, Cold War might not have been. I'm going to take that one back. But I know that the other ones were part of the HQ because I bought them on Steam. And that's how you launch them, is through Call of Duty HQ. So taking that number and having it be the reason... Or, sorry, not the reason. the idea of how many people are playing the newest game out is not cool. I wish that they would show a list of who is in what game, because they have to be on those servers. It can't be that hard to just measure the traffic on those servers specifically. And even on the Steam charts for the Call of Duty HQ, their all-time high, or sorry, not all-time high, their 24-hour peak was, I think, 46. So they average like 44,000 players a day, which is still a lot, don't get me wrong, but there's so many other spots to play those games too. You have Battle.net, you have Steam, you have PlayStation, Xbox, all these things coming together, but you have no idea how many people are on one single game. I kind of hope that they somewhat ditch the whole HQ style, which I know isn't going to happen, because then they're going to have to, you know, create an executable for Warzone instead of just having it be linked straight into whatever game has come out that they can just patch that through like they have been recently. But at least then we could get an idea of, is this game actually doing good, or is it doing good because the media is trying to claim it's doing good? It's a completely different animal whenever you actually get to see who's playing what, the reviews of who's playing what. I mean, Black Ops 7 is one of the most reviewed bombed games on Steam in general. I've never seen a game be overwhelmingly negative for so long. Pretty much since it came out, it has been in the red as far as reviews goes. And I want to say there's at least 2,300 reviews on there, which isn't a lot, but then again, PC is one of your bigger platforms. You know, you can take consoles and lump them together and you get a lot of people, but that doesn't mean that it can be discredited just because the number is lower. And there's a lot more people who have played those games that haven't reviewed. Just look at the, 448,000 peak that the Call of Duty HQ has had. Meanwhile, none of the games on Steam have been reviewed to that level ever. It is such a fluctuating list where you could actually see who's doing what, and if you're getting full transparency, which we're just simply not, and it sucks. So who knows, maybe the game will do good. I really want it to do good. I want to play Call of Duty again, but that's enough of ranting about what I wish would be different from Black Ops 7. Is just something that I kind of want it to be good, I don't want it to be another review bombed game. I want to have a fun time on Call of Duty again. Okay, absolute last point before the video ends. I know it's a long one, I apologize, but I'm feeling a bit passionate right now. The only thing that I want to see out of Modern Warfare 4, which I've just decided to put trailer up instead of my gameplay from earlier, just because it felt more appropriate for this point. I want to see them kind of take a step back from how quickly these new games usually end up playing out. Now, I like being able to play a fast-paced game. Take like X-Defiant, for example. That game was much faster just in general, even before people figured out that they had some like movement tech they could use, and before the game got shut down, obviously. But I liked the speed of it. I mean, it felt good. It was a good Call of Duty replacement until they changed like how the camo grind works, and then it really pissed me off and I stopped playing. But I want to see them take some, precautions, we'll say, to kind of keep the movement down to a realistic level. I am not a fan of the movement, like, god idea that people have given themselves now with these new age Call of Duties about being able to slide jump prone and then quick scope all pro 4 guys around the corner in the matter of a second. I hate trying to keep up with that. And my reaction time is good enough where usually it's a pretty even fight, even if it's just some dude flying around a corner so quickly that my brain can barely process it. But it'd be nice to just not have to think about playing the game that way. I want to be able to enjoy myself. I don't want to have to think about, oh, is there going to be a guy sliding around this corner as quick as it can be because he slide canceled Y wide into a fucking chalk charge or some shit and just blew everything up? I don't know. But that being said, I appreciate any of you who have made it this far. I'm sorry it's such a long video just for a rant, basically. But keep an eye out. I would like to do more projects in the future. I just got a lot going on right now, so I haven't really been able to execute any of those. But I appreciate any and all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, anything. Follow my Twitch and Twitter if you want to see more stuff. And that being said, I'll see you all later.